Some relevant terminology, limb loss, what does that mean? It's when you have a portion of your limb missing versus limb difference oftentimes is due to an anatomical difference, such as something being congenital, like limb deficiency or a limb deformity, limb length discrepancy, so when the limbs are different sizes. And a lot of causes of this are typically from genetic, they're born with it, an atypical development, or injuries can also cause limb difference. Residual limb, so people will refer to it as their stump, so the more appropriate term would be residual limb. And then the sound limb is typically the uninvolved side. And sometimes people have two amputations, so they just will have two residual limbs or two involved sides. Understanding the components and what components are involved with a prosthesis is important because it's something that you'll probably encounter when you're working with this population, especially in the gym. This is what they will present with. So a liner is something that they place over their skin prior to putting on their socket. Then they also have socks. So these come in ply. They will be placed over the liner to take up space. So when you have an amputation, you go through limb fluctuations where your limb will shrink and then it'll also expand. So if we think of our own feet, when you're walking for a long period of time or you're sitting, you'll notice that that blood will pool and your feet are swollen and may look like sausage toes, right? So with an amputation, all of that blood will pool, or if they're doing a lot of activity, they'll sweat, so then their limb will get small. They can't get a new prosthesis every day. They're going to have a different fit. So what these socks do is they take up that space. So those days where they are shrinking and their limb is slimmer, they put a sock on or two socks. So they go by ply. So 3 ply, 5 ply, 6 ply, that's based on the thicknesses. So they'll adjust those throughout the day. The socket is the hard shell on the outside, so this is what's molded to the person's shape. So you'll often hear them talk about their socket, they're having socket fit issues. So this is the actual hard portion, the outside that goes over their limb on top of all of these other components. And a suspension system is how the prosthesis connects to their residual limb. So this will vary greatly. Some people have different types of suspension systems where they use vacuum system, suction, lanyard, a pin and lock. So we'll go through all of these in more detail, but just giving you a brief overview right now. So that way, the more you hear it, it'll start to click and make it a lot easier to understand.